this is our second Bold Babe interview, and it is with the lovely Brianna Latour, better known as
the Lip Bunny
on Instagram. And I have known Brianna since we were 18 years old. We met at URI in college, and when we were sorority sisters, lived together, roommates, and I have seen you really grow into exactly who I could imagine you to be. She is a bold boss babe, just doing amazing in the beauty sphere.
It's like, obviously this is like the first time I met you, but I've been watching you on Instagram since like you first started, and watching your growth has been like so inspiring and just badass. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So we need to know all your secrets.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a really cool little niche, and I think that you know, once people get to see what it's all about, it just sparks a lot of interest. So
definitely. So Brie, why don't you kind of explain to anyone out there watching what it is that you do?
So I'm an aesthetic nurse injector. I inject Botox and fillers, and I kind of do just the aesthetic part of nursing. And I got into it really getting my own lips done. I went to go get my lips done with a couple of friends, and the doctor there just started talking to me about how like I could do this as a nurse. So I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, I've always loved beauty and I love nursing, and it was a way to kind of combine the two. So as soon as he told me a little bit about it and how he was opening a med spa, it just kind of like took off there. And I just never got it out of my head. That one conversation I had with him, and like one thing led to another, and then I ended up here.
Here in the Bold Babe's office. You're honestly doing amazing. So quickly, you've kind of grown this also, like, you're like this growing social media influencer as well. And that's, I think, really interesting to a lot of women out there who are trying to develop a personal business and a personal brand, because there's a lot of places you can go to, obviously, for different types of
anything, inspiration, education.
Yeah. So how did you find this niche in order to grow your following virtually as well as, you know, in your office?
So you mean, like, how did I get started with like the Instagram? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so
how have you used Instagram to grow your personal brand?
So I think I kind of put myself in my clients' shoes, and I mean, at the end of the day, like, I have all these clients who are like trusting me with their face. I mean, your face is like so important. So I just kind of put myself in their shoes, and I said, if I was going to choose to trust someone with my face, like, what would I want to see? So I just started really posting everything that I was doing, you know, and I think posting everything that I was doing, a lot of the clients that were coming to see me were really like interested, and like that's what got them there. So then they were really you know, open to saying, okay, you can post my pictures. And then it kind of became like this whole like support system where like they were supporting me and I was supporting them, especially girls like sending me their selfies. They like want to be on the account. They want to kind of like, because this stuff really gives people a lot of confidence, and you know, it makes them feel good about themselves. So I think it kind of became this like channel of like positivity where, you know, I'm kind of showing girls these things to make them feel comfortable to come to me, and then they're showing themselves to other people, and they're proud of like how they look and they feel confident. So I don't know, I think it's like a little bit of them and a little bit of me, and then it just became like this good platform for everyone. And then everyone else watching, it kind of gave them, because a lot of my clients are new clients, they've never done any of this stuff, so they just felt comfortable saying, okay, you know, I've been watching you, I've been, you know, seeing everyone you're posting, and like I've always wanted to do this, and now I feel like kind of comfortable to come and see you. So
yeah,
everything.
So obviously knowing you so long, you've always been very confident. So maybe can you kind of explain and like distinguish how what you're doing isn't to maybe like, oh, you're not confident, this will make you confident, but more so how this is like enriching just like who you already are?
So, and my motto really is to enhance the beauty you already have. Now, there is a lot of people who, you know, all different types of people who practice in this, you know, in the beauty industry, especially like injectors, and like my clients who come to me know that that's kind of my style, to keep things natural and just to kind of, I think that, you know, you're beautiful the way you are, but, you know, we just kind of enhance that. And really, most of my clients that are coming to me, they just want to feel better about themselves. They just want to feel a little bit more confident. They want to, you know, if they, especially like specifically lips, they're like, you know, I feel more confident when I'm talking to people. I mean, it might not make the biggest difference to everyone else, but to them, it just gives them like that boost of confidence. So I think that's probably what honestly drives me the most with this too, is just, I get that text message where she's like, I feel so good about myself, I'm so confident, like thank you so much. Like that's what I'm going for, you know. I'm not so much saying like, oh, you need this to look better. It's, they feel like they are more confident. And I think that's really such an important thing in this time, is just to be a confident woman and you know, really like kind of strut your stuff and like feel good about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so important, I think, especially this day and age with the whole comparison
It's
life
tough.
we live. Do you find that a lot of your clients come to you for certain types of like specialties? Like obviously, as you're the lip bunny, I'm sure your specialty is lips, but do they come to you for other areas too?
So yeah, I mean, there's so many other things than lips. I love doing lips, but I think another big thing of what I do is anti-aging, which is, I think, super important. You know, preventative Botox is really good. That's like a way to kind of, because a lot of my clients are younger. Now, these things can be corrective, but they can also be preventative. So I see a lot of patients who are coming to just kind of preserve the way they look too, by doing like maybe like a little bit of Botox in the forehead or around the eyes. So I mean, there's all different, everyone, and that's what I think is amazing, is like there's something for everyone, you know. Like there's somebody who's coming because maybe they don't like the line in their forehead and the way that the makeup catches in it, and then there's someone else who thinks they have a little bit too much of a gummy smile or whatever it is. I mean, and that's why I say, like, I like to make people feel better about them, because they'll be sitting there and they'll be like, you know, this little wrinkle bothers me, and I'm like, I don't see that, but you know, it makes them feel better to know that that's taken care of. So that's why I say, like, you know, it's really to make someone feel better about themselves, because you know, we all have that like one little thing that maybe makes us feel a little insecure, and to give them that correction in their head just makes them feel more confident.
Lovely, Bree. So I would venture to guess then, if I had to ask you what your favorite part about your job is, it's probably just the reward of how people feel.
Absolutely. I definitely, like I said, client selfies, like when I'm like laying in bed and I get that selfie where you can just see her rocking it, I'm like, oh, that makes me feel so good. So definitely the reward of those clients and that appreciation, and them telling me, you know, I feel so much better about myself, I feel so confident. That's definitely like the most rewarding part of this job that I chose.
Just also knowing you for so long, and like obviously like talking to you about so many personal things, you definitely take a vested interest in people and what they're going through. So anyone who goes to you, I'm sure, feels so listened to and so cared about, which separates you as a nurse for sure.
And that's one thing, even when I went, you know, for training for this, and, you know, I started learning more about the aesthetic field, it is a lot psychology too, you know, like it's psych nursing, really. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that, even being in the medical field, that I've been able to pull in and, you know, put into this business, because, like I said, you know, it's really more about the way that someone feels. And, you know, I've had plenty of women come in and, like, have something going on in their life, and, you know, we can talk it out, you know, while I'm making you feel better. So it's definitely a way for some people to get some kind of therapy, you know.
It's amazing. I feel like you've created such a trustworthy and transparent business. The transparency in terms of like how you've used Instagram to grow your business and sharing the client progress and the selfies and the beautification of it, and then obviously the trustworthy of the client patient relationship is obviously so admirable. It always seems like obvious, but it's not always the case, of course, that a lot of people actually abide by that.
No, and that's what I was saying before, that I think one of the reasons, why I've grown so much is just that I decided to say, I'm going to share everything. I'm going to try to share as much as possible so people would feel comfortable with this, and I try to be really transparent,
awesome.
Especially like in this business, like you're trusting me with your face, so to be able to see other people going through the same, it just kind of like makes you feel better about the whhole process.
And in some cases with their bums.
Yeah,
Sometimes the bum money
sometimes we're doing butts too, so.
That's amazing.
Very important cheeks.
Right? These cheeks, those cheeks, yeah.
All important.
Everything.
And also, I think it's just like, it's fun. Like, I think we need to allow life to be fun.
Yes.
Sometimes we get very caught up in like, just like the seriousness. Really quickly, we don't have to go too deeply into this, but I think people would be interested to know kind of what you were doing before you started getting into the beauty side of nursing.
So, before I got into this part, I went to Rhode Island URI for my nursing degree, and I actually started in the operating room. I got into a Peri-Op 101 program, which was an 8-month intense training program where it trained me to be an operating room nurse, which is a specialty. And kind of where my first interest in this type of field was, I was doing plastic surgery. Now, in Rhode Island Hospital, it really has to have a medical background to it, why they're getting plastic surgery. For example, I would get a patient who had a mastectomy because of cancer, and we were doing reconstruction of her breast. So, like, things like that. I have to have a medical reason, but these plastic surgeons would come in and do it. So being around the plastic surgery residents and, the surgeons, I just kind of started to spark my interest in this field. A little different than what I'm doing now, but there was a connection there. And it's funny because, once you go through this program, you select the part of the OR that you like to be in most. So I was kind of in the plastic surgery field of this, and I think that's probably the first thing that sparked my interest.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine. I always give so many people credit. Like,
no, much different there to here, but like I said, there are a lot of things that I was able to kind of pull from nursing and being in the hospital and kind of incorporating to what I'm doing now.
Yeah, and offering that compassion.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's much different, but you see that like nobody's struggle is really bigger than someone else's.
It's different.
Exactly.
But I do want to know, like, one maybe fear that you had to overcome going into this industry.
Okay. So I think the major thing I had to overcome was, I'm an independent contractor, so I do work at a medical spa, but I bring in all my own clients, I handle all my own business. So I think probably like the structure of like having something that's so certain, being in the hospital and having a schedule and knowing that the same paychecks coming in every week, and everything's kind of set up for you, and taking that leap from there to here was difficult. And at first I was really reluctant, and I was staying at the hospital and I was doing patients, and I was seeing patients till like 9 p.m. and eventually I was like, you know what, like I just gotta take the leap, because now at this point I was working 2 full-time jobs. It was crazy. But I decided one day, I was like, you know what, like I can do this. Like I'm not gonna be afraid of, the uncertainty of doing my own business, and like I said, the fear of not having a set schedule and everything. But once I really took that leap, I felt like that's when I felt everything just begin to flourish. So it was crazy how it timed up for me. I feel like not only did I decide and make that decision, but with it I noticed that I kind of put a little bit more into my business and into my clients, and even my clients who were seeing me, they were coming at crazy hours, and when I started offering them these normal hours, they were like, oh wow, like this is awesome, like I have all these options. So one thing just kind of like help the other. So I think that was probably the hardest thing for me.
Yeah,
Just making that
definitely.
commitment and that switch.
I think a lot of people are in that position, and like seeing you is a huge encouragement. Just
oh,
to,
you
like,
gotta go for
it.
it.
You gotta go
for it. And that's like probably the thing I would tell myself. You know, and back then I'd be like, be bold and
And go, it's true.
and go for it.
All our bold babes.
Because you'd be surprised, like the universe just kind of like everything works out. You know,
does.
when you kind of
Absolutely.
take that leap, so.
Yes, manifest.
Oh, mic drop. Love it.
Faith in yourself.
So what are your plans for the future?
So I was just accepted into URI's NP program to be a nurse practitioner. So my goal is to kind of get, I'm going to get my education, you know, say what I'm doing now, and, you know, I'm not leaving my clients or anything, but I'm in school to be a nurse practitioner, and I just want to keep on. I mean, the one thing I learn every single day, there's something to learn in aesthetics. Like, there's a new laser coming out, there's a new, you know, type of, you know, facial microneedling. I mean, it's just a growing field. It's just getting more and more popular every day. So my goal is to really develop with it, and becoming a nurse practitioner, I'm able to really work a little bit more independently, and I would be able to do a couple, you know, different things, more advanced things. So, you know, my goal is just to kind of keep going.
It's incredible.
Yeah, honestly,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes,
I love seeing it.
And getting accepted is amazing,
Yeah.
and keep killing it as a bold babe.
Such a bold babe.
She gets such a bold babe,
Yeah.
honestly, and
Really.
so proud of you. I think this is great.
Yeah, this is like so perfect.
Yeah, we don't need to carry on too much longer, but I mean, I have so many more questions. I'm sure you have so many more
Yes,
questions.
I do.
But I think we want to save all the really juicy questions for our panel night when we can all talk in person.
Fun.
Yeah, absolutely, Brie. Thank you so much
Oh, you're welcome.
for coming by. You look as beautiful as ever.
Fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brie.
Oh, no problem.
All right. Yay.